fist you need a grid mesh. Use Grid Mesh Creator below. The columns are fixed to be 5, so in here 3 rows and 5 columns will give me 15 slots, and hit Create. Now assign the generated mesh in Object slot and hit Generate Decals. This will add some new buttons in the End panel window. These buttons can be used to both store the materials in UV and also for applying the same. Now here I made a loop cut in the mesh around the door part. Now to store this, first I need to hit Copy Decal button once and hit any empty slots in the face buttons. Remember, once the copy button is clicked, the buttons will do only storing. The buttons are arranged in a way similar to the empty area in the grid mesh is. You can enable the correct face attributes in Options to move the mesh around to capture the areas you want more easily. This mesh is not needed in the future, so you can mess them up in any ways. So far we store parts of the material. This is mainly used for storing decal areas. Now we will store some tileable textures materials too. And next some dirt and leak patterns with alpha. After that I have a road mesh with multiple materials. So I am going to store each areas of the mesh separately so that I can use them separately when I am texturing. Once you are done with the copying, delete the meshes you don't want. Now that all the arrangements are made, let's jump into modeling. Here I am starting off with a simple plane. Since this is not a 3D modeling tutorial, I will skip the explanations on the modeling part. Now to apply the materials that I stored before, first I have to hit Paste Decal button once. Now I just need to check the corresponding buttons for the right texture with the help of the grid mesh. Here notice the brick texture is kind of in the wrong direction. To fix this I can use the Rotate UV button. It works only for one selection at a time. Similarly, you can use the Reverse UV button to flip the UV. Now to spread the same texture through the rest of the brick area, I can use the Flow UV button. Note that the material of the active face will be spread to the rest of the selections. This will keep your UV orientation and texture density the same. But right now it cannot create its own seams, so in case of corner areas and loops you will have to mark the seams wherever it's needed. Another option in the add-on is the UV spread. This option is helpful when you have either an inset or an extrude. Now, whenever you need the texture scale to change for the faces, like in this case, you can use Scale and Translate UV option. This will give you a toolbox at the bottom of your viewport. There you can directly adjust the UV scale and translation. The last option in this add-on is the quad flow. This one works similarly to the flow UV option. The only difference is that it will straighten the curved UV. Just like in flow UV, you will have to mark the seams for any close loop and for hard corners. This add-on is intended for the purpose of managing materials easily in a large scene, and to do some quick workaround on manually doing UVs in a trim texture workflow and managing decals. It can also be used with multiple UV sets to add secondary level details. Stay tuned for the future updates.